should Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas actually be getting calls from the Seattle Seahawks about coming over there to help Russ cook?
Man, so as hard as you just fought for Shanahan, not over Belichick, I'm saying absolutely not. Doubling down on this here. I think this would be a huge waste of time for Seattle. They don't play small like New Orleans does. We've seen over the years, New Orleans has been a team that struggled to get cheap touchdowns, that struggled to make big plays down the field. Like, they are not a big chunk team like Seattle is, like a Lockett, like a Russell Wilson over Drew Brees, like a Metcalf. Like, we've seen what Seattle has turned into recently. But let's take a look at some of the numbers. The last 3 seasons in the NFL, Drew Brees was 3rd, 5th, and 8th worst in intended air yards. Flip over to Russell Wilson. He has been the 5th, 4th, and 13th best in the NFL in intended air yards. So there's an absolute night and day difference. It shows you Russell Wilson pushes the ball down the field. Drew Brees doesn't. We saw it all day.
Intended air yards?
Yeah. In other words,
what kind of a nerd status? I don't know what it means, but it's ridiculous.
Right.
I've never heard anyone reference it. Like,
right. Well, you have completed.
I wanted to throw that far.
Right.
Really?
I intended to. So yes, there's intended air yards and then there's completed air yards. I was going to go back and forth between either one, but there really wasn't a major difference because the leap was night and day, like I'm trying to compare here with Brees and Russell Wilson. But another thing is, being in the NFC West, how would you effectively incorporate a Michael Thomas into that system? Are you going to slow down? Are you going to play short now with a team that equally the entire division is surging towards the top to get better season after season after season? Like, do people understand the entire NFC West can make the playoffs if things fall right with the length of the season and the competition that is in that division? So I think bringing in Michael Thomas just really takes a step back for them. Big contract. You're talking about a guy who's got a big ego at the moment, and I hate to say it as a Saints fan, but the Saints are putting up with a lot from him, and it kind of pisses me off because every time you see something with the Saints, Michael Thomas is always trying to throw a curveball to kind of manipulate the situation or favor himself, and that's just been the rap recently. So I got to say, Seattle, stay away from this. I think you can get really a better receiver with a better head and free agency at this point, especially with injuries. I mean, absolutely not.
I mean, he's not even going to miss that much time in the beginning, but I think they absolutely should make that phone call. I mean, they're basically in Super Bowl or bust mode right now. Like, they're going to end up starting to blow it up if they don't win shortly.
Yep.
Their window is closing, and it's been closing for quite some time. Russ is complaining about cooking. They do go deep a lot, but I don't understand how you could think that it would be a bad thing to bring in a top flight wide receiver like Michael Thomas. If you have someone that is excellent at the underneath routes, he now has another option. Russ may not have to hold on to the ball so long. He holds on to the ball and waits for his deep wide receivers to get open because his wide receivers are just straight up deep ball wide receivers.
Yep.
They don't run the underneath routes. He'll get plenty of work out of Russ if he's able to get open and be an outlet, and now he can start chopping them down underneath. It will open everything up. I mean, it would be an excellent move for them, period. I mean, you're talking about the issues that he had out there just as far as his attitude, but the dude was just coming off, like, outside of last season where he was hurt and only played in 7 games.
Averaging 118 touches.
He came off of back-to-back 125-plus receiving seasons with 1,400-plus yards, broke the record for receptions in a season.
Yep.
9 touchdowns in both seasons, and you're telling me they shouldn't do that? Like, the only way you justify it is to win. If you don't do it and you don't win, why not? You're going to have to end up starting to blow this thing up anyway.
Got to pull the trigger.
If you're right at the edge, get whoever it is you can get in there so you can get that championship. Yep. Once you get it, you can blow it all up and you can suck for the next 3 years and no one will care because you brought in another Lombardi.
Yeah, and I'll just say this too. I know they're on opposite sides of the football, but Jamal Adams and Michael Thomas, I don't have a good feeling about them being in the same locker room. And you talk about all the mouths to feed as well that are on that Seattle offense with Metcalf, Lockett, you've got Everett, you've got Disley. And like we both just said, this is a dude that before the injury season, he was averaging 118 touches a season. Back-to-back 125-plus catch seasons. Like, we know Michael Thomas demands the football, and just Seattle doesn't play underneath enough for him. He's not a deep ball receiver, and I just think they could shop better elsewhere, honestly.
Hey, but I mean, it would be a better situation than what he was actually sitting in New Orleans. And I know you being a Saints fan,
agree. No, I do agree.
Don't agree, but okay. I'm like, he's out there. He'll be out there with DK Metcalf,
more Super Bowl prime team,
Lockett.
Closer than the Saints are right now.
It's like him, Metcalf, and Lockett is a better wide receiving group than what he had with the Saints. Yeah. And I could argue with you to say that Russell Wilson is better than Drew Brees.
Oh, absolutely, bro. I mean, come on now. Drew Brees was horrible the last 2 years of his career. Just about
all of that. I mean, I could argue with you that he's better than him, period. But he has a lot more time to go for. He's able to get up on that list like that. But I mean, him coming into this situation, it would do nothing but elevate him and the rest of that team.
Right.
The offense will be another juggernaut offense that's virtually unstoppable.
In a loaded NFC West.
He would take some of the heat off of Russ to make so many plays.
Yep. Demand more bodies, more looks for Lockett, maybe more looks for Metcalf.
Like, Russ is the reason why those guys are getting all those deep balls, but Russ is getting hit a lot.
Yep.
He's getting sacked a lot, and he's doing a lot of scrambling to make that happen.
Right.
If he had Michael Thomas getting open on his little short routes, because, we call him slant man.
Yeah.
Hit him on the slants. Like, man, save Russ those hits.
Yep.
If he could take 15, 20 of those hits away because he gets open, that'd do wonders for them. Russ won't run down so fast, and then maybe Seattle can finish.
If Seahawks are smart, they'll make a call for Ryan Ramczyk, not Michael Thomas. They need O-line more than they need receiver. I mean, you just mentioned that there. Russ getting beat up. If they went and spent on Michael Thomas just for piss-poor performance, they would think all day about an offensive lineman. And I just don't think the Seahawks want to take that risk in a loaded division, like you said, basically being in a Super Bowl or bust, factor right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should all the way do it. So, I mean, y'all hit us up in the comments. Let us know what you think about that. I see Carlos doesn't like anybody that doesn't play for his team.
Nobody wants Michael Thomas right now, bro. His injury is scary, and he's a crybaby.
Oh,
I agree.
My God.
I agree, absolutely, because high ankle sprain, got rolled on last year. You don't know if he was ignoring, the training staff or if he was just being Michael Thomas again, being a diva. But either way, he's going to miss a quarter of the season. And, I mean, we're going to get into fantasy later. I'm staying away from that guy in fantasy. I am not touching Michael Thomas in fantasy this year. Don't depend on him for anything. So that's even more of a reason for the Seahawks not to take him.
What?
Nope.
Michael Thomas knew this was his way out. He knew Drew Brees was leaving.
He's like, I got to tweak the ankle.
Let me get my money. Like, I got to spend 4 years with Taysom or Jameis?
Oh, my God.
Give me my money.
He's like, let me just wait an extra couple of months to get this surgery and then force my way out.
Give me my money.
It doesn't seem a whole lot different than the Julio situation. Y'all wasn't calling him a crybaby.
Oh.